Hello, welcome back to my channel, Antoinette here. It's time for my March wrap-ups, reflections, have a look at what was in my journal and the decks I played with, I suppose. So I've got the 3 out because the Deacon Walk 2024 has now started. We have completed the first Deacon, we're currently in the second Deacon, and I'm going to try and show you what I'm doing with that. Now, I haven't decided at this point if this will be a separate discussion or if it'll be just part of my wrap up, and you'll see, as I go through where we are. But let's take a look, and should we start with this one? Let me just break it up, excuse me. So it's the Note Shelf app that I use, and then I have, as I've said many times now, Rochelle from Amethyst Ascensions Deacon Walk journal in here, and we are on Aries, so let's bring it this way, bring you down a bit. Right, so the information on the pages I've been continuing to add to, so I haven't added to this since last year's walk, so as I go around this year I will see if there's any more information I want to pop on as my kind of collage page. I have the sidereal astrology charts that Rochelle very kindly did and placed in her Facebook group so that we could access these. So I have put these in here according to, let me just see what I've got here. Yeah, the date range I think I've put them in here for, and which Western astrological sign they're going to fit into. I think that is how I've done this. She says. I could be wrong. I might have tried to do it in months. Who knows? Or have I put them under all the moons that come in under? No, I don't think I have. It made sense when I was putting them in there, but they're there. And then I have for Aries one. So what I've done is on my notepad, I started collating notes about this and the world around me basically in March 2024 as it was coming into the first Deacon. So it's like that 10-day period, what's going on. So I noted down the weather. We had some weird weather, sleet, snow, snow being the most unusual. It didn't last long. It melted by the time the morning came around, but I did manage to build a snowman about 1 foot tall. And then I've just got the world around me, the plants in my garden that are in flower, so I can kind of note this for next year. Now, this isn't new to me, the world around me. This is something that I have in a paper journal format, which I was kind of calling my seasonal observations, or my seasonal world around me, seasonal grimoire, however you want to put it. It was just me recording in there, and then anything that I like to do on those particular times of the year. And I was doing it in months. Then the music that I was listening to, so I particularly was feeling the mood for Era, or ERA, I'm not quite sure which way around we pronounce that, but I call it Era. It's my favourite relaxing classical playlist. So it's all very classical, musical kind of led music. Jean-Michel Jarre, particularly Oxygens 2 and 4, love those two off that album, Oxygen. And my mood was grumpy to hermit, I've decided, for that particular Deacon, or leading into that Deacon. And that's something I think I've hinted at. Haven't really put it into words, but touched on the fact that everything around me felt a bit off, squishy, weird, wonderful, and let's just keep away from it. Let's just back away from it and leave everyone to their own crap. And I noticed I was particularly seeking comfort foods and treats. Now, normally this time of year, it's warmer weather. I say normal. That isn't normal at all. It's the weather we've got used to as a normal over the last probably 10, 12 years, 15 years. Prior to that, this time of year was particularly cold, particularly stormy, particularly wet, and particularly windy. And it has been known to snow at Easter on a regular basis. So to all the new babies out there, this is normal seasonal weather that we're experiencing now. Then I have exercising. So I've been using the Asana Rebel app, which I bought as a treat to myself in between Christmas and New Year. It was in the sale mostly. I decided it really is not much fun. I tried using it for the first, I think I used it maybe for a month. 3 weeks, and then discovered that YouTube has much better exercises and levels. For some reason, the Asana Rebel app does not take into account people who really cannot bend, flex, touch their toes, like true beginners. So it's not a beginner's app. So perhaps once I'm no longer a beginner, it will work for me. Maybe that'll be 6 months' time. So we shall see. And the kind of deck I felt to suit the mood to do the Deacon 1, I felt was a zombie tarot. So I wasn't feeling this fiery energy that everyone else was feeling or associating to. I was feeling colder, cooler. Sorry, I got my tea here. Yeah, so I was feeling more colder, cooler climes. So I felt the zombie tarot. And then, of course, I wouldn't do it any other way. So as you've seen me preset these pages for last year, Marlene Theresa's spread is here. So it's in here, it was waiting for me. So all I've had to do is literally do the spread, snap it, stick it in, and put my thoughts down. So I now have a pre-done journal ready to just backfill. There's been a lot of hard work, to be fair, but yeah, so I'm quite enjoying that. And if I wanted to do this again next year with this journal from Amethyst Ascension, I could duplicate the pages. So I could duplicate this page and this page again for Aries 1, and then I could just put 2025 on it if I wanted to. If I wanted to do it again, for 2025. So I could just keep adding pages and then giving the date to each one to add and build on what I've got to do. And then we've got Aries 2. I need to put a photo of the cards. For some reason, I didn't do the couple of Aries seasons. And then I've got a page there ready to put my world around me, ready to go. And then I have my spread ready to go. So looking forward to this one. That's where we're at with the Deacon walk. And while I'm here, I suppose I ought to do this one as well. Okay, sorry, this one's a bit harder because it doesn't have tabs that it comes back to. So let's talk about the digital journal. And this is, again, another one that is from Amethyst Ascension's Kofi page. She's got a couple of journals, but this is the one that I started using, and it's one I've kind of continued using for a minute. But I am now starting to see the benefit to swapping, so I might buy one of her tabbed journals, so I can just easily flip to a month. So what happened in March for me? I did the Tea Shop Tarot Part 1 and Tea Shop Tarot Part 2. Part 1 beverages, Part 2 is food. So I did those two tags. Ones I created off the back of the Coffee House tarot decks by Amidst the Grey. So I created the Tea Shop Tarot Part 1 and Part 2. Predominantly tea shops are a British thing. I'm very aware of that. And I was basing on British teas and standard teas here. Things I'm familiar with. I'm not going to do it on things I'm unfamiliar with. So I did note that the interesting contrast between other parts of the world who don't like tea versus people who do like tea. So it's not as big a uptake on the VRs, but we had a few really cool responses, and it was lovely to see the decks that people pulled out. And there were some beautiful decks as well, might I add. I also did my top 5 weird decks, and I also did a VR to owlmoon 513 with one of her videos. So if I remember, I'll link them, but if not, they're in my playlist. You can find those. Hashtags and VRs are usually under the community playlist. Then I've got people I've watched predominantly. Now, this isn't the be-all and end-all list, but Forest Moon Fae, Mad Witch, Lennon Smith, Blue Crescent Tarot, Miss Kulala, Amethyst Ascension, Sarah Jane Art Magic, Lady Knight of Avalon. I do need to give a little shout out to her. She's just done an amazing video on astrology. It's not what you think it is. Recommend going over and having a look at that. She put a lot of work into that video. Then I have Ginger Faye's Mystical Musings with her, paranormal spreads that she likes to do. Musings by Masha. She's got her hashtag running, so it's nice to check in on those with her, see what decks she's pulling out as her top 5 trumps. Then we have the Mystic Rose Tarot. So she's been looking into and delving into the sidereal astrology as well. So that's been really cool, watching her videos. So she's had panels on and things talking about it. So that's another series that's worth having a little watch. Charlie Follows. That's my favourite yoga channel for beginners. The Tarot Shrink. Plenty of videos going on over there at the moment and discussions. owlmoon 513, as I've mentioned, and the Story Crow Did a really good story about Easter this, at the end of March, just as we're moving into, did a really good one about Easter. So I thoroughly enjoyed that one. And then things I watched was 5 Blind Dates, Uptown Girls, Neighbours, Fast Charlie. That was a really good film, actually. The Roadhouse original and Roadhouse new one. Enjoyed both films very much, might I say. And the books that I was reading mostly on audio. So Got Your Number. I think that was by Sophie Kinsella. And then Last Summer by C.L. Green, aka Aries Witchcraft. So that book I bought, was it last year? I think that was last year. And I started reading it, but I never actually finished it. So I sat down and finished it. And it's actually really, it's a very saucy storyline. I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's saucy as they come. But the underlying storyline was quite cool. And it reminded me of a couple of films that I've watched. One which is a film series, and actually they're both film series. One's a little bit more raunchy than the other, and they reminded me of like a kind of smash up between the two. So it was quite cool to actually get to the end of that story. And then I started not her next book, but I started another book that she's written, which is called Accepting Fates. She's written 3 books so far. All 3 are on my Kindle. I've purchased all 3. But yeah, I'm now reading Accepting Fates from her. So they're all available on Amazon, by the way, because that's just how I purchase audio and Kindle. Now then, I did the Broken Heart Tarot from the Zombie spread, Zombie Tarot. So that's my spread. It's all there, but I haven't written up my thoughts. I don't know where I put them. I know I jotted them down somewhere on paper, but I've lost it. So I haven't actually put it in. That's why I should take pictures of everything I write. If it's not in a book or nailed down, it's gone. I've lost it. I also did the Emerald Lotus Divination spread here, which is the next phase. So spread for clarity on your journey in life. I thought it was a good time to do it coming into end of March because it's the end of our tax year, start of a new tax year. So I just thought it was poignant, fitting. And there you can see my cards as I laid them out. So that is the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle, whatever you want to call it. And this was a channel I was watching. I'm going to guess it's Quasi Yo here. But this isn't a tarot spread. But I screenshotted it off his YouTube channel, and I'm going to turn it into a tarot spread. So that's why that's there. And then there we have the spread that I did. So this one I started doing, and then I stopped and then filmed it live and did it live and put a video out to it. So this is my VR to owlmoon 513. So as I say, that one is on my playlist. And we did Sip and Sling with Elemental Cartomancy. Chris over at Elemental Cartomancy had the lovely Deanne from Blue Crescent Tarot, and she brought the spread for the evening for us to all sit and do, and it was based on the suits. So a card for each suit to represent each suit with a kind of challenge for each suit, question to go with. And I used the Arcane Warrior Tarot because I like the fact that it had the kind of oracle wording on there as well, like affirmations if you want, because sometimes they're quite useful to use when you're doing spreads like this for yourself. So obviously you can see where I've scribbled down the questions, took a picture, got it in here. It's nice and safe, haven't lost it. And then I've written my answers to each card in there. So we have the swords, the cups, the wands, and the pentacles representation. And then we're into April. So that is my digital journaling. Oops, let me just... Okay, on to the next journal is the Moon Diary. So this is my daily pulls in here. Where are we? We're in March. Genuinely, where are we? Okay, so for March, got a few missed out ones here. I was on call, so it's busy, right? When I'm on call, it's busy. I give myself grace. And then a few actual missed days, but not too bad overall. So this one obviously is Western astrology, bringing us into the season of Pisces. We had Luminara as our fairy, and we have the daffodil for the flower for the month. And some planetary stone is aquamarine for the month of March, of course. And then we have, so you can see where I'm at to, just running through dailies. What did I do here? So on the 6th of March, I did the top 5 weird decks. Yeah. And so we had some weird stuff going on. I was just looking there. Is there anything worth reading out? Not particularly, I don't suppose. I think if you're sensitive to the energies around you in the universe, you've probably been sensitive to most of this. So I did do some exercises. I've got some more on call here. It's been a busy month, as I said. Ostara. So we've got the gorgeous pages for Ostara and that recipe there. Honey sugar cookie recipe. So if you've got a sweet tooth, what a gorgeous recipe for the season. And then, sorry, I've got Marjorie sat next to me. That was one very big sigh, wasn't it? The micro moon being the worm moon. Now, everyone called that a micro moon, didn't they? So it's called a micro moon. I thought a micro moon meant it was like a long way away. But that last full moon in March was huge. And it felt like the full moon started 3 days before advertised schedule. I even asked in a couple of groups, is anyone else feeling this? Like, what does the moon look like outside your window right now? And people were like, yeah, it looks like a completely full moon outside, although it's still 3 days away. I was like, okay, so it's not just me. I'm not going mental. And of course, the clocks went back. And we landed in Ostara Easter weekend. So, and then we have some information here about the fairy star, which obviously is the picture there that we have in the background. It tells you what all the several points are. And I think that's about all we got there. Just my make playing cards wish list and my mass market wish list and things that purchased or came in. And the first item ever has been lost in the post for me. I'm gutted. I ordered a Shadowscapes bundle of cards because it costs so much money to get them across from America. So I did a bundle and they've not shown up. Gutted. Absolutely gutted. And then we have Diary of an Edwardian Lady was the book that arrived. The Herbal Remedies book from Hedgecomb's series. And I also had another herbal kind of plant book from the same series. A Book of Death arrived, and a couple of books for drawing in, and one of the kiddies' books on witches. So yeah, and then we're into April. In fact, some of that, I think that all arrived like right at the very start of the month, because I've literally forgotten about it because I didn't bring it down to show you. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So into my spread journal. Here we go. Month of March 2024. My keyword is learning. So for March, the card ahead was 8 of Earth. Now is the time to find new ways to apply what I know and to enhance my expertise. So I was starting to look at data for an audit that I'd done in work. So it sort of goes there. I had an analyst to help me, of course. But we were looking at it, trying to see if there was any trends, if the patterns could prove any improvements in what I was auditing and what I had implemented. But the data, unfortunately, turned out to be really inconsistent that the people were giving me that I was gathering. So it made it hard to spot. Then I have the Ghostlands as my Oracle card. So live in the here and now. It's where the magic happens, which never has been truer, because I tell you, I found myself reminiscing a lot this month. I'm failing to live in the here and now because I was living some points in the past or experiences that people had put me through in the past and bringing them forwards. And I think Emily's Witchcraft channel, she kind of talked about this. I watched it last night video on wrath. And I think her words were something like, bringing the ghosts of the past forwards. And that was sort of happening there. So I had to throw them back because they didn't need to be in the here and now. And it's not like there was any work left to do on them. It was just, they don't need to be here. That's it. Like, let that shit go. Cut it free, drop it, leave the suitcases, anchor them to a point in time and don't come forwards. And then I have blossom, so growth. Take risks, explore without fear. So it was sort of that ghosts of past stopping me from exploring freely, with my normal childish kind of curiosities. And then the decks I was using, so we have the Book of Shadows, Liberty, Tower of Echoes and the Oracle of Echoes, Zombie, as I've already mentioned, with Elemental Cartomancy. I have the Arcane Warrior. I also had the Outgrow Yourself Tarot. And then this is my prompts for the tea shop tarot decks. Prompts 1, prompts 2, which I did right at the very end of February, like probably on the last day of February, which is why they're in March, because I'd already started like wrapping up in the next pages. And then here we have the week ahead. So for the first week of March, I've done the situation for the week, what is influencing this and likely outcome from this. And there's my keyword learning, but I haven't put any writing down. I'm using Liberty Tarot. Here's my Oracle deck from the Mabon Seasons of the Witch. And my reflections, just a line of stickers, as you see, the cards I had, and just a basic writing of the reflections of what I felt from them. My week ahead again, so week 2 of March, I found a way to make the pages look good. So I'm using my pens to illuminate parts of the print. Well, I'm saying it looks good. You might think it looks awful, but I was like, it's just so dull, dead, dark. I needed to bring some sunshine into it. So here we have the situation for the week. What is influencing this? My likely outcome. Learning. So I put to do faux calligraphy. And exactly that there, me trying out faux calligraphy. And I think we'll have 2 oracles here for this one. My reflections on the week again, just a line of cards in the reflection in the best possible taste. Then I did a new moon spread. You'll be so proud of me. So this was using the Tower of Echoes, first edition. And this is out of my last journal. So it's out of last year's journal and possibly the year before's. So I just pulled it across, drew it in again, and then put my cards and my feelings for the spread. So as you see, I did this one on Mothering Sunday. It happened to be a new moon on Mothering Sunday. No, it didn't just happen. It's always a new moon on Mothering Sunday. Summit from the Hermit's Cave kind of enlightened me that this also follows the lunar cycles as well as Easter. So that's fascinated me because I've not noticed it before, ever. That absolutely fascinated me. What is the new moon about for me? What wants to emerge? What do I need to release? How can I focus and manifest my desires and affirmations for this cycle? As in this moon cycle, this new moon cycle, affirmations. So it's just a 5-card spread. Then we have, this is week 3 for our week ahead. We're doing the situational energy. What is feeding into this situational energy and how will this affect the outcome for the situational energy from what is feeding into it? And then I've got learning, to breathe, to be, to laugh, to learn. Again, the energies were just, sometimes they were like choking, It was like car exhaust fumes or something. I had the oracle's advice, then I have my reflections split up this time. So we have the overall energy. What did I miss that was important? And what do I need to pay attention to? So we've got those there in my reflections. And then the tarot for ritual. So my VR to owlmoon 513. This is it here, using the Mind's Eye Tarot and the Healing Spirits Oracle. There's my cards and all the meanings I got to it. But I think I talked through that anyway. And final week for March, we have situational energy. I kept the what is feeding into it and how will this affect the outcome. And then we have learning to be the best you in work. And then my oracle reflections, work, home, world prompts, and staggered this. I did do like a little journal update. So it's silent. Well, no, I've spoken over it. There is a little video of current journaling habits, which you can look at. This one's a really boring page, but it was such a dark page that I had to draw over all the black picture with yellows to brighten it up. I used the Witch Oracle for this spread, and this was Tarot Normal with Ginger Fae and Divine Musings, and Ramon from Moon Scarab was the guest. And we were delving into some energies that he was experiencing, and we have 10 questions on this one. So yeah, all the answers that I have there are there. Then we have the full moon. So my second moon spread. I think she's woke herself up with that snoring. So this was a lunar eclipse, and I've got an oracle up here. So that's this one. And you can see, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth card is Apothecary. And what have we got here? So what does my mind need for healing? What does my body need? What does my soul need? And what is the significance of this eclipse for me? And then Oracle is for ritual to work with this eclipse energy. So, and then my highlights, because we are on to April. So the kitchen skeleton has been built. Worktops are on. It's not all complete. I have art pictures which are on order to go on the walls finally. It's been 8 years. Woo! Ceiling is work in progress. So it's being coffered, and that is a very long work in progress. Dear Max is still with us. We're 3 months in since his diagnosis, and he seems to be doing okay. So I'm very, grateful for the fact that he's still here. We had the new books to keep me occupied, as I've mentioned, last summer by C.L. Green. Hedgerow Apothecary and Hedgerow Herbal were the 2 books. The Rebel Gardener, that arrived. That was a really good book, which I hope to delve in and out of over the next couple of years to build some garden space, because he makes it look so easy in a little town courtyard garden in London, and he grows amazing stuff. The Diary of an Edwardian Lady, just dipping in and out of that and reading it as the months progress. So it's not a book I'm reading cover to cover, that's just in and out throughout the months. And Herbal Grimoires by Amy Cesare, that one arrived. That's a really good, cute little book for adding into as well. Then we have the Healing Souls Oracle. Finally got my Kindle book back out. I did some more of my cross stitch. When I say did some more, I think I probably did 10 stitches. There's my VRs, and the stretching is continuing. So let's take a look at the decks, because probably bored you crapless with that one. And what have I done? Sorry. So the whole deck is upside down, and I'm only looking at that pile as upside down. The world has gone topsy-turvy. So this was one that I just used as spreads on its own. It's a mass market deck. Love it. I held off with this one for the longest time. Finally went for it this year. And no, it's not a seasonal only deck. It's as and when the mood strikes, I guess. But this is one. It's got some great spreads in the book, so I will be trying out some more of the spreads in the book for this one. But it's just so tongue-in-cheek. So that is my zombie oracle, zombie tarot. Sorry, I say oracle because, of course, I have Orshi's Galaxy Dreamer, used to be Drag Orshi tarot. I have her zombie oracle deck, and this was one of the decks actually that everyone pairs that particular deck with. And that's not why I bought this deck. It was just, just because. So we have the beautiful Tarot of Echoes from Anaturian. It's been edged. I don't have the exact colours, I was trying to go with a blue kind of tone that fits in with these. But my blue sometimes feels a bit too blue. I think I wanted a bit paler, but we work with what we've got. So, this is work that if you know Anaturian, you'll love this artwork. She has a very definite style, and it's it's evolved, so it's not really the Oracle of Echoes style. Like this one has that to it, but then some more of it, like this one, is really, you can see her art style has totally changed and evolved. So what we'll do is, just so you got some comparison, I'll bring in the Oracle of Echoes, bring you down a bit, and you can sort of see now, because this one's from a while ago, and this one's been on the go for a while, but in between she's done so many other projects for other people. Yeah, so you can just see the looseness of this versus what's become quite detailed. Is that the right word? So there's some in the background, but there's a lot more detail, much more line work compared to here, where it's more, it does have that more kind of ink splot feel, watercolor ink splot feel. So this one has a bit of that feel to it. So I think these two, but then this one brings me back to more of her contemporary current style of doing. But nonetheless, absolutely beautiful decks. And of course, I've only got the first version of the Oracle of Echoes. I don't have the second version because, again, it costs a fortune to get it across from the States. So I can't be affording to just, dip in and out every time somebody adds a few more cards to a deck, which I find absolutely devastating when that happens, personally. So I'm very glad to see it's coming out mass market. Hopefully it'll still have all the same gorgeous cards in it. But yeah, so that's those two together for you. What else did we have going on? Just trying to think of all the combinations. So my week aheads were predominantly this, the Liberty Tarot from Lo Scarabeo. And as you know, it's usually 3 cards for me. And then we have the Oracle deck, which maybe has a little bit of fiery energy to it, and the orange sides. So these ones, I think they look quite good together. I don't think I was particularly upset with aesthetic at all this month, and probably not last month either, to be honest. I was just pulling what felt. And I do kind of pre-plan them, as you know, so I already knew that this was the deck that was coming. I mean, this one, as soon as I got it in my hands, I was like, I need to work with this deck. And to pull this one back out was a little bit unusual for me, because obviously I put it away thinking I was done with it for the while. Excuse me, slurping, that was gross. I hate it when people do that. As my mum brought me up, it's the height of bad manners. Some things you can't shake, can you? So yeah, just going through. You can tell we're in Mercury retrograde because I really my words are just jammed, so I'm not even finding the ability to talk about the cards with you. So I'm definitely, I don't know why. Is it because I've tuned in and paid too much attention to what's going on around me? Is that why it's affecting me so much? If I wasn't paying attention, would I still be having the same issues? There's a question for thought. So yeah, so we had those. And then for my dailies, I did find myself pulling this deck on a majority of a daily basis. Not every day, but most days. And I also did pull it with this deck. So I was pulling both of these daily. And we were also playing with the rather fabulous Book of Shadows, another gorgeous bright deck. So she says putting down a dark card. So there we go, that's better, isn't it? So yeah, this deck was out for playing with as well. And it was just literally, you know, that card, this one to see what it said, and this one for any further advice. Obviously this doesn't have a guidebook. Well, there might be a PDF you can download, but I don't have a guidebook with this one. It's just what I'm thinking about the words at a time. And this one, I was either using exactly what it says here, or I just read the book and see what popped out of the book for me. But they made a cute daily, so I wasn't adverse to playing with all of these. And there was some colour matches in what was going on as well, even though obviously my two oracles are completely different in appearance, but they both sort of hit that inner ritual point for self. Do you know, interestingly, the fire cider, tobacco, none of these cards have ever come out for me. I love that star card. And I'm having an inner turmoil struggle because Andre Astes currently got a Lenormand in this art style, but it's a spooky Lenormand on Kickstarter, and his art style is just so gorgeous, and the preview that he showed was amazing. I haven't gone back to look at it because I know I'll just press buy, but because I don't use Lenormand, I'm like, I can't really justify buying a deck on Kickstarter just because I like the artist and the art style. And I'm trying to be, you know, thoughtful about what I'm doing with stuff so that I don't start to feel overwhelmed with a clutter of decks around me that I can't get to and use because I'm getting close, or I might be at that limit right now. You know, in a rotation, using 4 or 5 decks in rotation, I still won't go through in a 12-month cycle all the decks I own, and that's when I think it becomes a shame, because not all of them are just shelf decks, so most of them are decks that I choose to use. So there we go. That is my daily pulls for what was going on. Let's just get these out of the way. Put you on pause a minute. Okay, so I had a new deck arrive right at the end of February, and that was the Aurora Tarot. I think it was February. Did it arrive at the beginning of March? I know I've done a walkthrough of it, but I didn't pair it with anything, so I really wasn't too sure at the point. However, on Instagram, I was playing with decks because this card deck was just so damn gorgeous. It's a Pip Marseille deck. Love it even more for that. Oh, I got it upside down, sorry. I have a habit of doing this. I think I'm splitting things in my hands and then inverting them without even realising. So I'll just lay you out. Now then, the deck that I've been feeling with this is this one. It's what I call my He-Man deck. All the images, they're so reminiscent of, like, was it He-Man? There was another one, Lino, Chitara, Thundercats. It's got that art style to it, which I just adore. So it takes me back a little while into my childhood, but this is the one by Levi at Masculine Intuitions Readings. And I believe it's still available. I think he still has some of these ones left. I think I tried before to point you in the right direction for this, but I fail miserably every time. But you can find Masculine Intuitions Readings on YouTube or on Instagram, and then just contact him for his shop to purchase the deck. Yeah, Masculine Intuition Readings. He's got a couple of other oracles out there as well. So scan for other works. So you can scan that image and it should show you his other works. There you go. But anyway, as I was saying, I found actually this with these, it read really well. And they looked nice. And they're all blue. Wow, it's kind of got a blue feeling to it, this one. And it's a deck where some of the measures have been renamed, but we have the affirmations, as I think I've said previously in my digital journal show there, with what's going on. But don't they look cool? So I just wanted to show you that one because it was something I was playing with at the start of the month on Instagram, and then basically fell foul of that and decided that it wasn't, because I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram. I don't know, I just find it a little bit of a cesspit sometimes with some of the stuff that's on there, and then other times I find it really inspirational, amazing, and it's the best thing in the world. And I still haven't really kind of got used to the fact that, well, no, I'm not used to it. I'll never be used to it. I might even delete my entire profile and just have it as private, just so I can watch Instagram rather than people find me or be active on there, because that's not really why I was there. Instagram was never for people to find me. It was only ever meant to be for me originally, and then I sort of started to feel like that pressure of, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, putting readings on there. I mean, it's nice to do a little visual reading to show a set of cards and things, but I really, my life, I've got more time or less time than I'd like, and I haven't got time to be trying to do aesthetically pleasing photos. Just like my my YouTube channel, it's real life. I haven't got the time and space for anything else, so it's really more me than it is anyone else. So this is the Witch Oracle by Angie Sullins and Silas Tobath. This is one that I use for the Tarot Normal spread for Ramon. I've used it twice now, I think, on Tarot Normal spreads. It seems to do a really good job. I don't work with this one a lot. I'm not familiar with what all of the cards mean. I haven't read the book back to back, but what I do is with this one, because it's an oracle, I use it, I see what I think about it, and then again I scan read or bibliomancy, if you want, the book to get the information out that I need. And so far I have found it to be quite interesting in how it works. So from that perspective, it works really well for me. But I am aware that not everyone else will be overly impressed that I'm scanning a book to give somebody a reading. But, you know, we're playing the tarot normals and things that we join in with. It's us playing with our decks. It's not supposed to be professional reading time. It's playing, seeing how your deck performs, you know, using it in a different way, learning to be more intuitive about your images, seeing if you get other downloads, hits and messages. So yeah, so that's what I use that one for. Oops. So it comes in this little bag, so I'll just put it back in there. Then of course we have the Outgrow Yourself Oracle. One of those really ugly decks. Sorry. It is, but beautiful at the same time. That lesson, I'm not going to lie, if this is me naked, I need to outgrow this. Just for my own sanity's sake, you know, just so I feel good about myself. That probably says more about me than it does about this deck, but yeah, I don't think anyone needs to see me in any of these formats naked. So, but this one, generally, as again, I quite am liking the combination of tarot and oracle in a deck. I'm liking the fact that they all, whereas with, like, say, the Thoth system, people have, it's the same keyword for Thoth. Whereas with these, people are putting their own spin on the affirmation or the meaning. And I like that because it just brings a little something different to each deck, each card. So it's not like having multiple decks with the same set of minors keywords on there, or domains, or lords of. So yeah, it's definitely not a deck I use on a daily basis. It's just one that sits on a shelf upstairs, and if a spread takes my fancy and this deck takes my fancy, then I will use this one. course, those are the backs. It's available direct from the creator, so yes, it is an indie deck. So it's by that person there, so you need to find her channel if you'd like that deck. And I did get this one out once, I think. Now I can't remember why I got this out. It might have been because it was part of my keyword meanings, but it was just a one-off, I think, on its own. But I do like this deck. Look at that. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful deck to end on, isn't it? With some gorgeous images as I fast approach the over my half-hour mark on my videos. Well over half an hour. So yeah, okay. I think that's all I've got to whittle on about, waffle and show. Nothing of any other use or excitement here. So until the next one, take care. Blessings and light.